the butterfly lion. Okay, so to recap, there's this young lad who has run away from school, and he is having tea with an elderly lady who is telling him the story of a young lad called Bertie who lived in Africa. Now, the place in Africa where Bertie lived was really quite dangerous because there were lots of wild animals. So his parents built an enclosure around his home where he lived and told him he wasn't ever allowed to leave the enclosure, which he wasn't very happy about, but he did what his parents said. And his favourite thing to do was to watch the lions from the enclosure. And one particular day, he became very interested in a mother lion and her little cub. And that's as far as we've got, so we'll just take it from there, I think. So, one evening, Bertie must have been about 6 years old by now. He was sitting high up in the branches of his tree, hoping against hope that the lions might come down for the sunset drink, as they often did. He was thinking of giving up, for it would soon be too dark to see much now, when he saw a solitary lioness come down to the waterhole. Then he saw that she was not alone. Behind her, and on unsteady legs, came what looked like a lion cub, but it was white, glowing white, in the gathering gloom of dusk. Okay, so you can see the lioness here, and the baby lion cub there, just behind her. While the lioness drank, the cub played at catching her tail, and then, when she had had her fill, the two of them slipped away into the long grass and were gone. Bertie ran inside, screaming with excitement. He had to tell someone, anyone. He found his father working at the table. "Impossible," said his father. "You're seeing things that aren't there, or you're telling fibs, one of the two." "I saw him, I promise," Bertie insisted. But his father would have none of it, and he sent him to his room for arguing. His mother came to see him later. "Anyone can make a mistake, Bertie dear," she said. "It must have been the sunset. It plays tricks with your eyes sometimes. There is no such thing as a white lion." The next evening Bertie watched again at the fence, but the white lion cub and the lioness did not come, and nor did they the next evening, or the next. Bertie began to think he must have been dreaming it. A week or more passed, and there had been only a few zebras and wildebeest down at the waterhole. Bertie was already upstairs in bed when he heard his father riding into the compound, and then the stamp of his heavy boots on the veranda. "We got her! We got her!" he was saying. "Huge lioness! Massive she was! She's taken 6 of my best cattle in the last 2 weeks. Well, she won't be taking any more." Bertie's heart stopped. In that one terrible moment he knew which lioness his father was talking about. There could be no doubt about it. His white lion cub had been orphaned. "But what if," Bernie's mother was saying, "what if she had young ones to feed? Perhaps they were starving." "So would we be if we let it go on. We had to shoot her," his father retorted. Bertie lay there all night, listening to the plaintive roaring echoing through the veld as if every lion in Africa was sounding a lament. He turned his face into his pillow and could think of nothing but the orphaned white cub, and promised himself there and then, if the cub ever came down to the waterhole looking for his dead mother, then he would do what he had never dared to do. He would open the gate and go out and bring him home. He would not let him die out there all alone. But no lion cub came to his waterhole. All day, every day, he waited for him to come, but he never came. Okay, the end of that chapter. Butterfly lion.